Here's why a plant-based diet does not work at all long-term. If you're looking to see sustainable long-term weight loss, which I'm sure all of you guys are that want to get a flat stomach and lose your stubborn belly fat, you should not do a plant-based diet. So if you're thinking about doing a plant-based diet, your friend is thinking about doing a plant-based diet, or you've tried it in the past, you want to know why it didn't work for you or why maybe it did, then I highly recommend for you to watch this video in full so you have a good understanding of what you should do and what you shouldn't. So the number one reason as to why a plant-based diet does not work long-term is because plant-based protein is not complete. It's incomplete protein sources. And what do I mean by that? A complete protein source has all 9 essential amino acids, and this is what we can say about animal-based protein. Animal-based protein has all 9 essential amino acids, especially the branched chain amino acids known as leucine, isoleucine, and valine. But this is virtually non-existent in plant-based sources, and pea protein may have a little bit of leucine, but it's not going to be near as bioavailable. So even if we get a few essential amino acids in this incomplete plant protein source, it's not going to be as bioavailable. But what do I mean by bioavailable? The definition of that is the ability for you to absorb the nutrient content of what you're eating, right? So if a nutrient is not very bioavailable, the likelihood of you absorbing and utilizing that nutrient content is going to be very, very low. But if a nutrient is very bioavailable, your ability to utilize those nutrients and absorb them is going to be very, very high. And with plants, it's low. But why is it low? Main reason why is because they have a whole lot in the way of anti-nutrients. These anti-nutrients include isothiocyanates, oxalates, lectins, and many more that are held within these plants that are designed to protect the nutrient content that they have held within this plant and to pass it over to the next generation, because plants can defend themselves passive-aggressively. Mammals can defend themselves aggressively. They don't need to be as passive because they can move around, but plants really can't, at least most can't. So in order for plants to actually evolve and adapt in the best way possible, they have to have these anti-nutrients in order to defend the next generation of plants that come after them. But these anti-nutrients not only make these foods that you're eating less bioavailable, but they can even cause problems, but for certain people, not everybody. So I'm not saying universally everyone should avoid eating tomatoes or should avoid eating beans because they have a whole lot in the way of the anti-nutrient saponins. But I am highly recommending for you to at least analyze what you're eating here and also analyze how you feel after you're done eating it. So if you eat a whole lot in the way of nuts, for example, and you feel a whole lot in the way of fatigue, it may be that the phytic acid content is maybe messing with your thyroid a little bit, or maybe causing some gut irritation, an issue with you breaking down the food that just came into your body. You may have a hard time actually breaking down and assimilating nuts because of the anti-nutrient content with phytic acid. And a lot of these different anti-nutrients have different symptoms for people that don't sit well with them. It could negatively affect your thyroid, could cause brain fog. You could have a difficult time just breaking it down in general and assimilating it from the human body. Oxalates are really, really prominent, especially in spinach. There's actually a phase called oxalate dumping whenever you transition to a carnivore diet to actually release and detox yourself from all the oxalates that have been stored and held within you for a very long time, because now you're not consuming any vegetables or any other source of plant foods that were to have those oxalates, right? So bringing it all back into weight loss, anything that dysregulates your hormones or puts you in a position of inflammation is not going to be good if you want to lose weight sustainably, unlock your body fat stores consistently over and over and over again. So I would just highly recommend for you guys to deeply analyze this and see how you feel after you eat these foods. But bring it all back to a plant-based diet. If we're looking to lose, let's say, 50 pounds and the majority of our diet is composed of plant-based foods that are not very bioavailable, are going to have little to no essential amino acid content, meaning that our likelihood of building muscle is not going to be as high in comparison to eating more in the way of animal foods that have those complete protein sources. And the anti-nutrient content could certainly be inflammatory for certain people. Maybe not everybody, but for certain individuals. So for something like that to make up the overwhelming majority of our diet is not good. Not to mention, even if we're eating purely natural foods and we're looking to lose north of 50 pounds, we're still going to be spiking insulin over and over and over again. We usually get a good insulin response from consuming naturally sourced carbohydrates from fruits and vegetables. But if we're someone that's somewhat hyperinsulinemic per se, we're looking to lose north of 50 pounds, we're metabolically unhealthy, then we should certainly be cautious with the amount of carbohydrates we're consuming. And if we are in that same state, using that same example, and we allow ourselves to make carbohydrates and plant foods really take up the overwhelming majority of our plate and the overall composition of our diet, then we're putting ourselves in a position to spike this hormone over and over and potentially even store more body fat, even though the fuel and the food that we're choosing to eat is a little bit healthier. So just to recap, if a food is more nutrient dense and bioavailable, meaning we can absorb the majority of these nutrients, then we're going to get a lot more in the way of satiety from that food in comparison to a plant food that's even more nutrient dense but far less bioavailable, meaning that we won't be able to absorb as much of the nutrient content. Higher fat, higher protein foods are where it's at. Chicken, ground beef, ribeyes, steaks, fish, higher fat, higher protein foods are king for weight loss because you get more satiety, a better insulin response, more bioavailable nutrients that you can actually absorb and utilize, and you get all 9 essential amino acids when you eat a complete animal protein source, and you can build more muscle by consuming those essential amino acids and then therefore get a bigger boost in your metabolic rate so you can eat more of the foods that are serving you well. So that's pretty much it for this video. I kind of wanted to dog on the plant-based diet today because many people have been asking me about it, and I just wanted to give you all a clear-cut answer on what you should be doing, which is not doing a plant-based diet, and instead focus on eating high-quality animal products and go with a carbohydrate notch that is actually going to work for how much weight you're looking to lose. If you're looking to lose north of 50 pounds, probably shouldn't be eating 30% of your diet from carbohydrates with higher fructose fruit. You should probably start a little bit small and then slowly scale your carbohydrate intake up as you lose more and more weight. So that's pretty much it for this video. Feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at itsbobbyo'brien. And feel free to click the link on the top of the video description if you'd like me to fully customize you a nutrition plan that does not involve a plant-based diet. Instead, a diet that includes a whole lot more in the way of higher fat, higher protein animal foods that are really, really enjoyable to eat that will allow you to lose more weight without controlling quantity, without controlling calories, macros, etc. So that is it, and I will see you all in the next video.